Ever since I've started making videos on YouTube, I've been extremely clear about one thing. I am not a fan of Ecco the Dolphin on the Sega Genesis. But when I hit 1,500 subscribers on YouTube, I asked my Facebook followers what they would like to see me do for a special, and the overwhelming response was review Ecco the Dolphin. So today I'm going to take a look at a game that I've owned and disliked since my early teens, and maybe now that my gaming tastes have matured, I'll form a different opinion of Ecco the Dolphin.
Remember all those great games we used to play growing up in the 80s and 90s? Most of them are sitting in an attic or garage somewhere, doing nothing but gathering dust. My opinion is, we should give them another look.
Nope, I still don't like it. Oh, you're still here. Well, since you stuck around, let me explain. It's not that it's a bad game. It just has certain elements that make it not for me.
I am the kind of person that enjoys a good, straightforward, linear game, and Ecco the Dolphin is certainly not that. The best way I can describe the gameplay is a maze platformer where you are forced to navigate your way through the undersea caverns to progress. However, even that isn't straightforward, as your path will be blocked at times by glyphs, and the only way to get past them is to backtrack to find the corresponding glyph that will give Ecco's sonar the correct tone to remove the glyph. Doesn't sound so bad thus far, does it? Well, in an interesting design choice, the developers decided to add an element of reality to the game, as Ecco actually has an air meter that, once depleted, starts diminishing Ecco's health. In order to recharge your air supply, you will have to resurface in an open location or air pocket, which, guess what, will result in even more backtracking.
You know what? I can deal with the unnecessary repetition the air meter gimmick causes, but what bothers me more is it essentially creates a timer in an underwater maze, and that just makes me unnecessarily anxious.
I just find the underwater timer element very unnecessary, and as I have mentioned in a previous review, I have a fear of drowning or being submerged, so I am already uneasy. Then you add the panic of being lost in this underground maze. It really reminds me of the dam stage of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES, where you have to navigate through the underwater maze, disconnecting all of the bombs before the timer runs out. I have played that game all my life and have never got past that stage. That's not to say that I don't enjoy underwater stages, as I love the underwater stages in other 16-bit games, like Super Mario World, or better yet, Donkey Kong Country. And in both games, the protagonist doesn't run out of air while underwater. If an Italian plumber and a jungle ape can survive underwater in a video game without air, then why can't a fictional dolphin? It's a video game, not a documentary, and not everything has to be realistic.
The unrealistic ability to breathe underwater certainly makes those games more enjoyable to play, but that isn't the only thing those two games do better than Ecco in their underwater stages.
Ecco is a game that gets a lot of credit for creating a beautiful underwater landscape to explore with music that complements the experience. I, for one, am not a fan of the graphical style or the soundtrack. Now, I want to be clear, graphically, it's not the character design that I have an issue with, and it's one of the elements I can compliment the game on, actually, as Ecco's animations are pretty impressive. What I am talking about specifically is the really odd color palettes they chose, for which I think takes away from the experience. Again, compare it to Super Mario World's beautiful color palette underwater, and you can see what I mean. I'm not sure if this was due to the Genesis graphical limitations or another design choice to try to imitate the realistic look of the ocean floor. The music is another element I really don't like, as I find it grainy and abrasive. The music in Donkey Kong Country is beautiful and soothing. In fact, it reminds me of music in a beautiful dream. Ecco the Dolphin's music is torturous and is the soundtrack to my worst nightmares.
And I still haven't even talked about the game's difficulty, which is high, but not in a good way. Listen, I'm a NES hard guy. I enjoy a good challenge, but not when the difficulty is stupid.
You encounter the stupid difficulty right away in the underground caverns, as the only way to proceed is to nose bump the spiked shells in front of you, but no matter which way I approach it, I can't seem to get through without getting hit. Oh, and that noise when you get hit sure isn't pleasant. Get used to it, as you will be hearing it quite often. It also seems like the enemies at times are completely unavoidable, and the nose bump attack can be inconsistent and leave you unguarded. Then finally something cool you come across, a giant octopus, but instead of fighting him, you have to sneak past him or he will deal you massive damage. Great, so it's also a stealth game, which is another genre I don't love. But the worst for me is the final sonar glyph in the underground caverns, which is behind a wall top with spiked coral that you can't get past without taking multiple hits. And what's even worse is once you get past it and get your glyph, you have to backtrack across it and take multiple hits again. That is stupid difficulty.
I think I've played enough. I want to be clear here. I don't like this game, but I'm not saying it's terrible, and after playing it again, I can certainly see why some people like it. But it's just not for me. Ecco the Dolphin is an interesting game that just doesn't appeal to me. Anyways guys, this is MichaelBtheGameGenie. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.